I am excited to talk. Now, I am not as good of a storyteller as Taylor is. However, what I want to do is give you some really tactical and practical advice on how you guys can really start building your brand, your movement, your vision that we've been sitting here talking about today. Okay, so we're talking all about $1 million movements. That is my thing. Over the last 6 years, like Taylor's told you, I've been building, growing, scaling businesses, 3 multi-million myself. I've advised over 420 founders. Phenomenal. They're all amazing. I've invested in dozens more. We have a really healthy portfolio, and I am still looking. So I'm looking at everyone in this room. I want to see more tech-enabled companies. I want to see more female founders at the helm of really, really big companies. I am not just here to help you build a small business. How many people here started their business to build a small business? Don't even lie. Not a small business, right? What do you build for? Comfort, freedom, choice, but never a small business. You don't build a business to build a small business. You want to build something that you can sustain, you can grow, right? That gives you the freedom you desire, and that's all we can ask for. This helps you get that, right? Now, I am known now for building really simple, sustainable, scalable businesses. That wasn't always the case. When I look back at 2019, oh my gosh, just like Taylor, I was a little baby. I'm 19 years old. I was just homeless. I wasn't even joking about being homeless. I was genuinely homeless, living off couches and spare bedrooms with friends. And I met my beautiful husband. I was content creating at the time. I was working with a bunch of these phenomenal 9-figure brands. And I was like, I can do something bigger. I can do something bolder. I can go further. And so I did. We ended up signing 160 contracts with some of the largest retail conglomerates that half of you are wearing today. But the problem was that I was pushing for every sale. I was pushing for every contract. I was always wondering, where's my next sale coming from? Where's my next lead coming from? How many of you guys wake up every day wondering, where is that next sale coming from? Right? It's not light. There's no light in the way that you are building business. It's heavy. It feels like you are pushing and pushing and pushing up a mountain. Movements help it feel a little lighter. Movements help it feel a little bit easier. Let me get my clicker thing going on. Okay, so we've done a lot of hands up in the air, but I can assume how many of you guys right now want to turn your yearly revenue into your monthly baseline? That is the amount of money you're making a year. Hell yes, come on. Yes, the amount of money you're making a year in a single month. Do you know how many women I've helped do that? You guys are sitting here being like, that is so impossible. I can't even wake up knowing where my next client is coming from. How am I going to do that over and over and over to the point that I can take that yearly revenue and turn it into monthly? But it happens every single day. And you have to believe that you can do it using what? The activities you just did. Do the things you're fearful of. Show up as the woman worthy and capable of building something like that. Okay, how many of you want predictable, sustainable revenue to be your new normal? Yes. Thank you. Okay, and how many of you want to build a business that feels sustainable, simple, scalable, intentional, is profitable? Taylor was over here talking about small profit margins. No, thank you. I built a business like that. My first business, the profit margins weren't great, and I was working a lot and pushing a lot, which is why I stepped down as CEO of a multi-7-figure company to restart. We restarted from scratch. I built more intentionally. Movements help us do that. But the problem with how we're taught how to market, how to build, how many of you guys are worried about the algorithm? The algorithm's doing this. I need to switch my content to do that. I need to switch my messaging for the 1,000th time. I need to rebuild my sales page. I need to rebuild this thing. We're taught how to build businesses in all of the wrong ways. And the reason is that we're focusing on all the wrong things, asking all the wrong questions. You guys are asking, how can I sign another client? How can I switch this piece of marketing to go a little bit more trendy or a little bit more viral? These are all the wrong questions. The question you should be asking is, how do I build something so, sorry for my French, but fucking unforgettable that people cannot help but not watch? They don't want to look away. They want to be there, looking at what you're doing, building it with you, advocating for this brand without you having to say a word. That's the kind of fucking business I want to build. That's a light business. That's a simple business. Okay? So, movements. Let's talk all things movements. Let's talk about practical, tactical, plug and play right now. to make the biggest changes in your business today. So when we are looking at movements, there are core 3 elements. We spoke about one today. You know, this idea of lioness, identity. It's a DNA, it's who we are. The second thing is movement. So we're going to talk about a few sticky topics and terms here that make people feel a little bit resistant. Jordan is a client of mine, and she knows first and foremost how sticky my conversations get. But the reason my clients, build such big businesses is because I'm willing to have conversations that most people don't. You guys are in rooms where we glorify fempreneur, female CEO. We're all fucking CEOs, or we're not. Doesn't matter if I've got a dick or a vagina. We're all building big businesses. And that is the point. We are looking at movements to build, sustain, and grow something big. The last thing that we need to look at is presence. You can have 2 people say the exact same thing. One's memorable, the other one's forgettable. And it all comes back to presence. Presence and identity are not the same. Identity is a DNA, it's who we are, it's what we believe, it's what we stand for. Presence is how we hold ourselves when we walk into a room. It's what makes us memorable, it's gravitas, all right? So when we look at all of these things, I love to call the convergence of marketing and sales traction, okay? Everyone likes to see marketing and sales as separate, but when we look at how I build businesses, brand, communications, marketing, sales, in this new landscape of media, they are all required to work together to move forward. So whether or not you're on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whether or not you have no social media at all and are just out there building a business hustling, doesn't matter. You still need all of these things to build traction and momentum. We've got identity, presence, movement, momentum, okay? So let's look at identity first. What do we think is involved in building a really strong brand identity? Call it out. Give me names. You can be wrong. Let's be loud. Social media? Interesting. What else do we think? Authenticity. Interesting. Values? Yeah, values is a big one. When we are looking at identity, we are looking at brand DNA. These are the things we stand for. These are the things we stand against. These are our values. These are the things we do not value. This is our difference, our distinction. This is what we're here to do. This is our mission, our vision, the North Star that we're working for. Everything that we do comes back to this identity. You guys are saying, I don't know what to post on social media. I don't know what content to create. I don't know what to say. You're sitting asking ChatGPT, create me 30 content posts because you have no idea what to say. When it comes to your brand, you have no core repeatable messages, which means what? You have no brand recall. If you want customers to buy, you need brand recall. It is non-negotiable, which means you need to know your core messages, repeat them over and over and over and over again, all right? Our identity, when we have a really strong one, helps us do that. I don't think about content. I don't need to. It flows through me. Every single word comes from here. Identity. I know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, to pull a trigger to get someone to buy. Okay? When it comes to my brand messages, I can roll them off the tongue over and over again. I've said them that many times because they are ingrained in me, my identity, my vision, my consumer. All right? When we look at our products, how many of you guys are launching new products and services over and over and over again? Every 1 month? Every 3 months? You guys? Anyone? Yeah? Needing it to sustain revenue, boost revenue? That all comes because you don't have a rooted identity. When we are building intentionally, we don't look up one day and think, how did I get here? We don't look up one day and think, I'm not in alignment with the entire business that I have built, because we have been intentional about it every step of the way. Every offer, every customer journey, every onboarding experience, every piece of content, every brand building activation that we do is in alignment with that identity, all right? Okay, so one thing I want you guys to do is I want you to think, if I stripped away your offer, your tech, your features, your products, everything that makes your business a business, what would you stand for? Do you still have a message to share? I want you to write it down. I don't have something fun, like a little notebook, so grab your phones out, okay? I'll read a little page, love that. Write it on your page, let's get some writing music in here. And I want you guys to think about, if we stripped away every single feature, every benefit, every product and service in your service suite, what's left of your business? What are you building towards? What is the mission? What is the vision? You guys are so focused on selling products and services. How can I sell my product? How can I sell my service? It's not what people are buying. They're buying status. They're buying transformation. They're buying identity. Those are the things they're buying. So know those things, okay? All right, I'll give you guys a little second to think. I'm not going to make you guys call them out. You guys go home and refine them, okay? I'm going to move on. I want you guys to think about your favorite brands now, right? We've locked in our identity. We know who we are, what we stand for, what we stand against. If you don't know those things, go home and figure those things out. Once we have that really solidified, then we can come into the fun stuff. I want you to think about all of these favorite people on here. Tony Robbins. I want you to think about Skims, Glossier, Netflix, Spotify. Who uses hot doc when you go to the doctor? How phenomenal is it? Changed my life. I'm sick of holding those dirty, unsanitary pens, okay? Each of these people, what do you think they're selling? They're not selling products and services. When we look at Tony Robbins isn't selling productivity courses or personal development courses. He's quite literally built a movement around transforming the way that professional people execute themselves every single day. How do they move? How do they operate? How do they think? How do they lead? That is the movement he is building. When we look at Skims, okay, there's a few of you in here that know what it was like to wear Spanx when Spanx first launched. It was not for everyone, okay? It's dinging in the rolls, it's doing all the things. I can't relate. I'm a little bit too young for the Spanx era. However, Skims didn't build body shapewear. They built a movement and they shifted a culture around body positivity. Now, say what you want about Miss Kim, okay? The irony lies in the brand itself. However, the business is doing what it was meant to do. It is building a culture around body inclusivity, embracing shape, embracing curves. We're not trying to hide them. We're not building shapewear that digs into all of the, beautiful curves on our body. We're embracing them. We're enhancing them. We rewrote what that movement looked like for shapewear. When we are looking at Spotify, for example, do you guys remember how hard it was to have to go onto YouTube, download it, burn it onto a disc, upload it to iTunes, then put it on the little USB cord onto your phone? Do you guys remember that? Now, as long as you have internet, you can listen to whatever music you want. Same with Netflix. Netflix wasn't just selling, shows on the internet. They were rewriting how we consumed media every day. They were rewriting culture. That's what I want you to do. You want to be memorable? Be culture. I would think of Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian herself is culture. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, doesn't matter. His culture, okay? He shapes media. He understands media. He knows how to use it to his leverage. That's what I want you guys to do. When we look at Hot Dog, they're not selling this tech. The tech's phenomenal. They're selling ease. They're selling on your phone, convenience, get in there, it's done, right? That's what we want. What does your brand sell? What identity does your brand sell? What movement is your brand selling? Do you know what that is? It's either a yes or a no. Give me an answer. Yes, okay. If we know what it is, fantastic. Now share it. A lot of you guys can know foundationally what you guys are doing, but if it's in here, what good is it? You can't share that with the team. Social media doesn't know those things, can't read your mind. Get it onto paper, share it, and share it again, over and over and over again, all right? All right, so when we are looking at building million-dollar movements, there are a few core things in place. Consumer obsession, indoctrination and identity, heavy one, I know, and demand architecture. So let's dive into this first one here. When we look at consumer obsession, the place where most people go wrong is that you guys are treating your customers like numbers and you don't even realize that you are doing it. Every day that you wake up and you say, where's my next lead coming from? Where's my next sale coming from? Where's my next this? Where's my next that? You're intentionally or unintentionally treating your audience like numbers. When instead, you could build a brand and a movement and actually nurture the people that are already there. How many people right now have 1,000 followers across all of their social media platforms, or know 1,000 people in general, maybe on LinkedIn, maybe in networking apps. How many of you guys have that? Now, how many of you guys have 100 customers right now? Love that for you, baby girl. Who else? There you go. Nurture the people you have already. Stop worrying about where are you getting new. Start worrying about building a brand that nurtures the people you already have. Now, when we look at indoctrination and identity, this is one of my favorite ones because the word either makes people go in like a shell and think indoctrination, that's a bad word, or they're curious and they have no idea what I'm even talking about. When we are looking at movements, what is the goal of a movement? Do you guys know? I don't want you to think of what I'm even talking about. I want you to think some of the biggest movements in history. Yeah, grouping together, moving people into a centralized direction. Yes, exactly right. The whole goal is that we are getting a group of people, the mass, to move into one direction in unison. Think of that endpoint like the North Star. That's your vision. That's your mission. That's the shared transformation that everyone wants. Indoctrination helps us do that. It creates a shared belief amongst people. You guys talk about cult-like followings. We're not here to build a cult. However, what we are here to build is devotion to our brands to make sales feel effortless, simple, repeatable, scalable, make it feel like you don't have to fight for every single sale because people already want it. They want what you have. They love your brand. They love your values. Now tell them where to go. That's what indoctrination allows us to do. It allows us to tap into I think I already spoke about this before, but status, you know how we're speaking about what do people need to buy? Status, identity, inclusivity, community, belonging. When we are indoctrinating beliefs, we're indoctrinating those things. We speak to status anxiety, making sure that when we are marketing, how do we build a brand and a movement? We say that if you don't operate in this way, you're not in alignment with where we are going, right? Status anxiety. We need to look at identity risk. When you guys aren't moving in this direction, you guys aren't showing up as the person that you say that you are. These are things we do to indoctrinate a belief. Now, the very last thing that we look at here is demand architecture. How many of you guys know if I did this one thing, pulled this trigger, then I make a sale? Put your hand up. Good. Not that many hands in the room. Okay. I don't know if my deodorant's gone all funny under here, so I might not put my arms up again. But when we look at demand architecture, it is about knowing and understanding the triggers of your consumer to know when I do this one thing, I get this result. That's data. That's understanding people. Circles back around to consumer obsession. When you deeply understand your audience, when you deeply understand your people, when you know what they want, how they move, what their desires are, what they're frustrated by on a fundamental level, we can get people to move, right? We can get that demand to happen on purpose and on repeat every single day. All right? So, let's move to the very last element. Are we all clear on the first two parts of how we build brands and movements? Yes, fantastic. The last element I want to talk about today is presence, okay? It is not enough to have a great brand DNA on paper, to have great brand strategy. It is not enough to understand your movement, understand your consumers, know how to talk to them. We also need to have presence. We need to have leadership because, again, you can have two people saying fundamentally the exact same thing, have the exact same business, the exact same offers, but one will always take consumers over the other. Why? Because one is just naturally magnetic. I have so many clients come to me saying, I just don't feel magnetic. I don't feel light. I don't feel like business comes easily to me. I don't feel like sales comes easily to me. Why? You hide away like a hermit crab when you're in rooms like this, instead of owning your presence, owning your what? Your lioness energy. That's what this comes back to, okay? So, when we are looking at presence, there are three core things that we need. I love a good three. They're easy to learn, they're easy to remember, and it's fluid. I don't know. Triangles are great. They're sturdy. So when we're looking at number one, we're looking at energetic gravitas. Have you noticed? I want you to think about each and every single face that you've seen in this room right now. Look around. Turn in your seat, look around. Who can we see? All right. Now, when that person, do you guys remember when you walked into this room? Do you remember that one person that just sucked the energy in the best way? Everything magnetized towards them. Can you think of a person in this room that does that, or that has that at least? Maybe you are that person, which phenomenal for you if you are. But if you're not, I want you to think about who is that person that just pulled everyone in. They have heavy energetic gravitas. It means that they are magnetic, they are charismatic. People naturally gravitate towards them. Why? Because they hold power in how they hold themselves. They have a strong internal compass. It's really hard to hold strong gravitas when we are shaky in and of ourselves. When we have limiting beliefs, we let ourselves be dampened by our own limiting beliefs, our own brain. How many of you guys believe your brain? Do you know how many times I have to tell my brain that it's wrong every day? Because it lies to me. It says, you're not good enough. You can't do this. Why would that person choose you over this person? My brain lies to me every day. Don't listen to it, okay? Energetic gravitas. When you have strong energetic pull in yourself, naturally, you will have strong energetic pull from others. So, I want you to think about, how did you carry yourself in this room today? Do you think you came walking in this room with light, energetic gravitas, meaning a little bit forgettable, a little bit running to the food table? Hey, I won't say that I'm perfect at this because I definitely was a little bit nervous today, and that's okay. But we need to recognize our behaviors on when we are acting light, fairy, and unforgettable, and when we are coming into a room and commanding it. Command is such a phenomenal skill, and when you can learn it, when you can master it, when you can harness it, building brands and movements becomes effortless. The other stuff is strategy. This is the stuff that's the hard work, okay? The second thing, physicality and non-verbal influence. When we are looking at the sciences of non-verbal communication, 73% of the way that we communicate is non-verbal, right? So it's not what we say, it's how we say it. When we're looking at oculesis, this is the study of eyes. How did you use eye contact when you came into this room? Did you pin the person you want to speak to and run on over? Or are you keeping your head on the floor, walking on the stone? Like, which one are you doing, right? When we're looking at the study of touch, how many of you guys had a strong, firm handshake today? Do you know how many people I see on the internet on threads talking about, oh, I shook this woman's hand and it was so flimsy? Could never be me, you know, little double backhand handshake, you know what I mean, with a little hug. No one-arm hugs. Give a full hug. The way that we use haptics matters. It leaves an imprint on people. Think of if you're close enough to someone to have such close proximity, such intimacy with someone, they're letting you be in their space. Use it, right? Leave an imprint appropriately, obviously. But haptics, okay? Okay. What's the next one? Kinesics, body movement. How are we actually walking? Are we walking slumped like this? Or are we walking into a room? Are we commanding it? You'll see me walking up and down this place. I might be scared, but I'll still strut, okay? I know that people are looking wherever I'm going. And it's the same with you. More people are looking at you than you think. Not even just in person, think online. The other day, I had a lead come in, and this is a competitive 3 years. 3 years this woman has been a competitor of mine. We have been playing badminton with clients. Her clients will come over to me. My clients will leave a container, go to her, come back to me. It's just back and forth. And I always thought this girl is such a competitor. I never thought anything of it. Guess who lands in my DMs just a few weeks ago, wanting to work with me? You never know who is watching. So it doesn't matter if it's in person, online, wherever. Know that everyone is watching. Okay, and the very last thing is verbal charisma and tonality. Again, it's not what you say, but rather how you say it. So one thing, I'm ADHD, for anyone that wants to know. Yeah, I think a lot of women are these days, but I have to very intentionally slow down my voice. As I'm sure, actually, I don't know if you can all see, but I am young. I got into business at 14 years old, okay? I am now 24 with 2 beautiful kids. I know, so cute. But I have a little girl's voice. And so there are times where I have to try and intentionally speak a little bit lower, speak in my diaphragm, so that women just like you take me a little bit more serious than you would if I were to speak normally. Okay, these are things I have to be very intentional about. Another thing I get a lot of flack for in the online space, which is a very real thing, manipulation of perception. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people on the internet saying manipulation is a tool that lacks integrity. No, manipulation is just a tool. That's it. Manipulation is used for good and used for bad. The way that I like to use manipulation is through manipulation of perception. When we are building brands, how we dress, artifactual communications, how we speak, how we hold ourselves, who we know in the rooms, by the way. Strategic partners are great, but bad ones will leave a very bad imprint. Who we know all influence perception. Perception matters, okay? So these are the 3 things that I want you guys to master if you want to build a really big brand. 1 is what? Identity, thank you. 2 is what? Movement. And 3 is what? Presence, okay? You guys are tapped into your inner lioness. You guys know what your vision is. You all said you're hell-bent on actually agreeing to fulfilling it this year. You said it to Taylor, you said it to Lauren, you've said it to me. And now you have the tools to be able to make it happen, okay? And if this is something that you want to learn, come talk to Taylor and I at the back of the room, and I'll be sure to talk you through all the ways that we can customize these strategies to you. Thank you so much.